Just how critical are Damar Hamlin's injuries? That's the question on so many people's minds right now as he lies in hospital. We have to warn you that the video of the incident is disturbing, but let me take you through it. So Hamlin made a tackle. He appeared to be fine, getting up, and then, of course, collapsing, which is the really hard bit to watch. He remained on the field for several minutes as CPR was administered. It was key that CPR was administered so quickly. These are the other key timings. 8:55, the injury occurred. 9 o'clock, the ambulance arrived. 9:18, the game was suspended. 9:25, the ambulance actually leaves the stadium with him on the way to the hospital at 10:01. The game was finally postponed. Let's bring in CNN's chief medical correspondent, Dr Sanjay Gupta, because it is difficult to watch. But from a medical perspective, what do you see when you look at that video?
Well, you laid it out pretty well there, Max. I mean, he was obviously in the middle of this play, seems to take a blow to the chest. It appears on that play from the opposing player's shoulder pad, perhaps. Stands up for a few seconds, which is critically important because I think, you always wonder, is there an injury to the spinal cord, to the brain? The fact that he stands up was an important clue there. And then a few seconds later, he then falls to the ground. That significantly suggested cardiac arrest at the time, that his heart either stopped beating or stopped beating efficiently. His heart went into an abnormal rhythm. That's what people thought overnight, and that was confirmed this morning. The Buffalo Bills confirming that in a statement, also saying that he was able to have his heart restarted there on the field, which was really important as well. A lot we couldn't see, Max. In that video, there was players obviously surrounding him. We were told that he underwent CPR, but the critical component is CPR is to basically move oxygenated blood through the body. You're doing this manually with your hands. Restarting the heart is the key, and the quicker you can do that, the better the outcome, the better the prognosis. And again, that's what we learned here just a short time ago, that in fact that was able to be done before he left the field. So we don't know much more than that at this point, but that seems to be how the sequence of events unfolded there.
Lots of people talking, of course, about the violence of the game and whether we should be concerned about that. Is that a legitimate concern, or is this just a freak accident?
Well, I think both things are probably true here. I think when people talk about the violence of the game, and I'm a brain surgeon, brain guy, and we've talked a lot about brain injuries and something known as chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, which is a big concern. I mean, I think the game has maybe become safer in this regard over the years, but it's still, you would not describe this as a safe game. It's a violent game. Having said that, I think what happened last night was more of a rare occurrence. When you have a situation, and the technical term for this is commotio cordis, it's rare, maybe a couple dozen times a year it happens. You're basically getting a blow to the chest and a blow specifically to the heart at the exact place, at the exact moment, to cause the heart to go into this fibrillation, meaning it's starting to quiver and not pump efficiently. And that's why a defibrillator is necessary, where you apply some electricity to the heart. But to your question, I think, again, both things can be true. I think it's a very violent game, but what happened last night was a rare occurrence. We typically see this in other sports, for example, like baseball or something like that, where you get a very fast-moving projectile, even cricket, and it hits the chest at that exact second when the heart is in the middle of a particular rhythm, and it just throws the heart into an abnormal rhythm. Rare, but it does happen.
It does seem as though the medical response was pretty impeccable. They were there very quickly. They had a defibrillator, of course. How important was it that they managed to get his heartbeat back whilst he was still lying on the pitch?
That was critically important, and again, we didn't have all those details last night. We couldn't see much, but yeah, when you start to look at someone who's in this abnormal heart rhythm, which basically means the chambers of the heart, instead of pumping blood efficiently, are sort of quivering like this, fibrillating like this. Every minute that passes, the risk of death, the risk of mortality goes up by about 10% per minute. So speed is absolutely the key there. And Some people may have been wondering, why was he on the field for so long? Why did it take as much time to get him into the ambulance? The key is to do as much as you can there in the moment. And you have tremendous medical resources there on the field, including defibrillators, which are present in all large venues. Obviously, the ambulance would have one as well. But I think it's also a reminder for everyone to learn CPR. I mean, anyone can learn CPR, which basically allows anyone to pump that oxygenated blood through the heart and into the body. You do that until you can restart the heart, and that's something anybody can do. So those two things, the CPR as well as defibrillation, are very key, and the quicker they're performed, the better the chances are of the outcome.
Okay, our thoughts with them, of course.